We have a new corrupt pardon coming from the Trump administration. This one from Binance founder, commonly known as CZ. Caroline Levitt was asked to defend this deal. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what she had to say.
On the pardon of Changpeng Zhao, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing that name, Binance has significant business interests with World Liberty Financial, the president's family's crypto company. How do you respond to the allegations from Democrats that this is a corrupt act?
I would respond and say the president is exercising his constitutional authority to grant clemency requests. And the president and the White House have a very thorough examination of every pardon request that comes to the president's desk. It is thoroughly reviewed by the White House Counsel Office. And I spoke with our great White House counsel about the pardon after it happened. This was an overly prosecuted case by the Biden administration. Even the judge in the case admitted that the Biden administration was pursuing a egregious over-sentencing of this individual. And the previous administration was very hostile to the cryptocurrency industry. So the president wants to correct this overreach of the Biden administration's misjustice, and he exercised his constitutional authority to do so. And to the Democrats, I would just say there's nothing more corrupt than what President Biden did on his way out the door, pardoning his extremely corrupt son and many of his associates.
Oh my God, the whataboutism I am so sick of. Just so you guys, so let's put D2 up on the screen to give you guys the backstory. So first of all, if you're not a crypto person, Binance is a giant in the space. I think it processes some like 2/3 of all crypto transactions. So this is an incredibly powerful company that he's created. It's also
like being the head of Visa or something.
It's also an incredibly sketchy company that he has created. And this is, I've done, did a lot of digging into this character because there were a lot of questions when SBF was taken down, and CZ was involved in that, by the way. But then there was a bit of a run on Binance. There's a question whether they had sufficient reserves. They at that time really didn't have any like accounting to back up the claims that they were making publicly. There were long-time allegations, including some that were, borne out and the company took action on with regard to insider trading, because one of the things that's really important about Binance to understand here is that if they decide to list your whatever shit currency, then it's incredibly important.
Crystal coin.
So, yeah, exactly. So if you have insider knowledge that they're about to list it and they're about to tout it, oh, well, guess what? You can make a lot of money off of that. So in this, sort of Wild West space. So according to the New York Times, they say Mr. Zhao had pled guilty to money laundering violations in 2023, served 4 months in federal prison after a years-long investigation by financial regulators and U.S. prosecutors. To seek the pardon, Zhao hired lawyers and lobbyists with ties to the Trump administration, while Binance struck a business deal with World Liberty Financial, the Trump family's crypto startup. This was not just any business deal, by the way. We're talking about a $2 billion business deal that they did with Trump's family crypto startup. Mr. Zhao is the most powerful executive, they say, in the crypto industry, worth an estimated $85 billion. He commands a vast social media following of worshipful investors who view him as something of a crypto oracle. With a few well-timed posts in 2022, he helped prompt a market panic that resulted in the demise of FTX. That was Sam Bankman-Fried's entity, the exchange that was once one of Binance's top rivals. To spearhead his clemency push, Mr. Zhao hired Teresa Goody-Guillen, a former Securities and Exchange Commission lawyer who also happens to represent Zach Witkoff, the son of Trump's Middle East advisor. Working alongside that lawyer was Ches McDowell, a lawyer and lobbyist who is a longtime hunting companion of Don Jr.
It's not a name, though. That's a made-up name.
I
don't believe that's a real name.
Both are, I think, fake names.
Ches McDowell?
Goody-Guillen and Ches McDowell.
Ches McDowell.
Anyway, Mr. McDowell was apparently spotted with Trump Jr. at the White House last week. So did the $2 billion deal. I'm sure said all kinds of nice things. God only knows whether he was funneling money into Trump's shitcoin, because we have no transparency around that. Certainly possible as well. And then hired, friend of Zach Witkoff and Don Jr. to get this deal done. That's how this White House operates.
Yeah, So Zach Witkoff is the founder of the Trump crypto firm, World Liberty Financial. And so the World Liberty Financial of it all actually even dwarfs the fact that Binance has hired like Ballard Partners, which is that's where Pam Bondi and CZ Wiles had lobbied before entering the administration. So yes, they've hired the lobbyists and all of that, but what does that even matter when your family is so heavily invested in a similar, well, actually in something that benefits from the industry that CZ is so powerful that the industry benefits. Like if he gets a cold, the industry, if he sneezes, the industry gets a cold. It's that type of relationship. And the other thing I wanted to mention from the New York Times coverage here, that, it's just a little bit amusing to see it put like this. Long considered the crypto industry's richest man, Mr. Zhao, a Chinese-born executive who now lives in the UAE, admitted that he had violated the law by failing to install rigorous compliance systems at Binance. That allowed people in countries under sanctions and terrorist groups like Hamas, Al-Qaeda, and the Islamic State to move money on his platform. So, while everyone is right now calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist, here you have a man being pardoned that, according to the Times, allowed terrorist groups like Hamas, Al-Qaeda, and the Islamic State to move money around. Complicit, perhaps,
Interesting.
might be the word.
Interesting. Let's put CoffeeZilla's tweet, guys. This is D4 up on the screen, just to give you the timeline of like the business transactions here. And of course, he is losing his mind over all of this. He says, backstory is CZ's pardon. So November 2023, Binance and CZ plead guilty, $4 billion plus fine. March 2025, Trump, World Liberty Financial, launches a stablecoin called USD1. Stablecoins are like back to currency, or, and I think in this case, treasury bonds. March 2025, $2 billion investment into Binance by MGX. May 2025, $2 billion investment was paid for in USD1. So $2 billion going into this WLFI's stablecoin. May 2025, CZ admits he applied for a pardon. October 2025, CZ gets a pardon. Result, USD1 is backed by treasuries. This yields $60 to $80 million per year for World Liberty Financial, so long as Binance does not redeem that $2 billion in USD1. So he sort of breaks down here for you the timeline and the net cash benefit directly into the pockets of the President of the United States. And we could have pulled, and maybe we will in a future show, Tucker is out there saying, I think that Bitcoin is a CIA op.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as well, because he's like, they're like using this as another way to steal from you and control you, et cetera. Trump previously had been very skeptical of crypto. He said he didn't like that it was a competitor to the dollar. That was his initial instinct. Well, that instinct changed dramatically when he received money from industry insiders and then himself realized how much he could personally cash into the tune of billions of dollars on, his own crypto coin, the way that, his supporters flooded money in. And then in addition, it's a just naked way for people to directly bribe him. So Trump's personal net worth has skyrocketed. I mean, really think about this. Most of Trump's net worth at this point has come about since he was inaugurated this second time around. So already obviously a tremendously wealthy guy. The bulk of his net worth is from his direct corruption during this presidency.
Yeah, this is Forbes in June. Crypto now accounts for most of Donald Trump's net worth. So an estimated $3.3 billion of his total $5.5 billion lies in, quote, the buzzy industry, according to Forbes. But what that means is it's all come just in the last year or so. This is a man who has been renowned as a billionaire for decades and a tabloid fixture. His entire show was based on his business success. And now most of his net worth isn't from any of that. It's from crypto. Yeah. And of course, crypto, you can argue, was built on his reputation and the coin is built on his reputation, whatever. Yeah. But it's not it has nothing to do with real estate. It has
nothing to do with real anything.
Well, yeah, that's
These are just, it's just a purely
fake estate.
Imaginary. Yeah. Imaginary. You can't even call it an asset. It's just speculation. It's just a pyramid scheme. That's all it is. But he is the scammer in chief, and so that's why it disgusts me to hear Caroline Leavitt being like, well, what about Hunter Biden? Like Hunter Biden and his freaking paintings and Burisma and whatever. If you guys had a problem with that, that is nothing. And I did have a problem with it. I still have a problem with it.
100%.
It is nothing compared to one of the scams that Trump has run in the second term, one of the corrupt deals that they have struck. It's just wild. Not to mention, and the CZ case demonstrates this incredibly clearly, the way that if you get on his good side and you hire the right people and you got enough money, the laws don't apply to you. You can get away with whatever. this president is actually antithetical to law and order, truly. Because yes, if you're Letitia James, he's going to dig up some mortgage application that you made a mistake on and fix later on, and he's going to throw the book at you. If you're George Santos or one of the other 10 Republican congressmen who committed crimes, you'll get off scot-free. If you're rich enough to pay your way in and willing to like kiss the ring, then you'll get off scot-free. It's a crime spree. It's an open season for a crime spree if you happen to be one of his friends or wealthy enough to buy that kind of access.
That's the other part of this. Like with some of these Hunter Biden deals, there's a very strong evidence that foreign policy was being manipulated by Hunter Biden laundering his family name and selling access. This is the entire crypto industry that Donald Trump, like why is Trump making so much money in crypto? Why is he getting these great deals through? It's because of what he's doing for the crypto industry. Like what he's doing for this industry that he himself was once deeply skeptical of, that many Americans are deeply skeptical of. And that includes huge concentrations of power, much to the chagrin of people. We interviewed someone on this recently who used to be super involved in Bitcoin world.
That's right.
Peter Ryan, I think. Yes.
Yep.
He came on the show and talked about the dream, sort of like the dream of the internet. It's the same thing with the dream of crypto, that it would be decentralizing power. And right now it's very, very clearly doing the opposite.
Yeah.
And Trump, his net worth is tied to that industry's fortune and favor. And that's part of it's not just that Trump is enriching himself, it's that he's enriching himself at the sake of the economy, because crypto is now a significant, what's the best way to put it, manipulator of the entire economy.
Yeah.
Like the entire economy
It's completely intertwined in the
it's
whole
intertwined.
economy.
That's the right
And
word.
these people are too big to fail. Like there's, at some point in the future, we'll probably be on the hook for some kind of a crypto bailout.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So I did want to give credit. Ro Khanna has his eye, trained on this problem, especially with regard to the president and his family's corruption. He's introducing a bill to ban this sort of crypto trading for members of Congress and for the president. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what he had to say.
In response to Trump's pardon of the former Binance CEO, you heard what Senator Elizabeth Warren said. If Congress doesn't stop this kind of corruption, Congress owns this kind of corruption. Explain to me how exactly Congress can do that.
Elizabeth Warren is spot on. Look, we have a president who is enriching himself and his family in an obscene wealth that is unprecedented in American history. And people need to wake up to what's going on. It's corruption right before our very eyes. I mean, you had a foreign billionaire who was convicted criminally of money laundering to Hamas and to Iran. And he invests money in the president's family's stablecoin, and that basically helps him get a pardon. And the president's family is making millions of dollars as president of the United States. I'm introducing a resolution to say that we need to stop the president, his family, or any members of Congress from trading in crypto, and certainly from accepting any money from foreign governments or foreign entities. It is corrupt.
So I appreciate Ro making moves on this bill. I don't know how, I doubt it'll even come to a vote, but if it did, I don't see how you can oppose it. Like, I'm sure if you ask the American people, 95% would be like, yes, of course, there should be a ban on this type of, trading and the direct corruption that it enables. But, you want to talk about a democracy problem. That's the kind of democracy problem that we already have.
That is the congressman from Silicon Valley, for what it's worth.
Yeah, it's a great point.
I mean, think if you're like on the fence about this, nobody has a better front row seat to corruption in this industry than Ro. But
we, Sagar and I interviewed Shoika Chakrabarti, who's running for Congress against Nancy Pelosi in San Francisco. And Sagar asked him a question about what about these, rich tech guys? Like, aren't you going to have to cater to them? And Shoika was like, well, even though there's, more probably millionaires per capita in this area than most parts of the country, they still are a tiny percentage of the electorate.
Right.
So if you're actually catering to the, vast working class, in the Bay Area and in San Francisco specifically, you still have a much larger base of voting support than if you're just trying to cater to these few multimillionaires, and that that Roe appears to be operating on a similar logic here.
Yeah.
And you know who else is operating on a similar logic?
Who's that?
Zoran Mamdani in New York
what a
City,
transition,
not catering
Krystal.
to the oligarchs.
On your A game this morning.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.